3, 4, 5. I don't know why, but there's often a delay before the sound starts. I'm not quite sure why, but there is. So the reading for today is called Of All the People. And I think I put the title down as Of All People. It's actually Of All the People. First quote is from Betty Bassett. I believe she was prominent in science of mind in the 20th century. I looked her up online. I could have asked Reverend Jesse, but I didn't. Anyway, she said, more importantly, what did she say? She said, in our moving outward, upward, and onward, I feel the silent strength linking me to all others by bonds of sympathy and true brotherhood and sisterhood. Betty Bassett. And this is from Ernest Holmes. It's published posthumously in 2021, or posthumously if you prefer, in 2021. And that's like, 41 years after he passed away. It's called Love Under Law, The Unpublished Teachings of Ernest Holmes, and it's on page 109 of that publication. Ernest Holmes referred to God as two aspects, conscious and subconscious, or objective and subjective, if you like. Love is the conscious aspect of the divine. Law is the subjective aspect. So that's mostly how Ernest Holmes referred to those things. And he says here, now, to align ourselves with these great realities of being, with the great activities of life, metaphysicians should not be stupid or dead or that kind of person. But of all the people on the earth, they should be interested in business, in commerce, in industry, in education, in religion, in politics, in everything. That is a broad activity of the world. Why? Because they are the people who have the big concepts. Don't withdraw from things, but enter into a greater consciousness of an expanded activity with everything. He goes on to say, you should be so full of the essence of the vitality of life that you would feel you would explode if you did not do something. That would not make you chaotic. He says, be calm and peaceful, but that great sense of the activity of life, that one thing will heal you of almost anything. Why? Because it will set things going and purify everything inside. He says, be a center of activity instead of weeping and moaning. Your every thought will attract you such in life that you cannot be sick. It will attract you such activity that you cannot be poor. You see, that activity of life flows through everything. Well, this is what Reverend Jesse has to say. By the way, he's an expert on Holmes. I mean, seriously. Where did we get the idea that withdrawing from the world would make us more spiritual? Not from Ernest Holmes. We're already as spiritual as we're likely to get. So the issue isn't to change our basic nature, but to become more observant and more accepting of how spirit moves through us. The world is likewise spiritual, made of spirit, and the consciousness we manage has a voice, a vote, and a place at the communal table. So what he's saying here is that at least for the majority of people, we shouldn't become hermits. That's not our job. Our job is to be in the world and to influence the world in all the areas in which we wish to take part, whether it's politics, it's religion, it's education, it's science, whatever it is. So he's saying, hey, because people who are involved in metaphysics, the spiritual aspect, have a clearer concept of the all. And because they have a clearer concept of the all and they're able to manifest, then they ought to use that for the benefit of themselves and the world in all aspects in which they take part. So it's really as simple as that. So don't hide your, I think in the Bible it says don't hide your talents under a rock or something like that. I'm just having a mental blank. But in other words, let your light shine. Let your light shine on the world. Be part of the world, but don't be involved in the world to the extent that the material aspect is all that matters. The material aspect is important, but it's not the most important. So that is the lesson for today. I will be back tomorrow, hopefully around about 5 o'clock, and you will see me on whatever social media you see me on. And I mention this every time. My colleague, Reverend Lisa, will be on Creative Life Center's Facebook page live around about 9:15 tomorrow, and it will be recorded. And practitioner Danielle Johnson, sometime tomorrow, will be doing a midweek meditation, also on Creative Life Spiritual Center's Facebook page. And as I said, you can find me on our business page, Prosperity Living, on Creative Life Spiritual Center's page, and my personal page, David Dewhurst. You can find me on Tumblr, on Threads, on Mastodon, on Blue Sky, and Instagram, and LinkedIn. How about that? So until next time, please take care of yourselves. My prayer for each and every one today is that you feel at peace. Whatever is going on in your life, it's chaotic. I'm knowing for you peace. And I claim this in that one divine law that always says yes, and for which I'm so grateful. And I release it and call it done, and so it is.